Okay, so this video is literally following on seconds after the last video. And at the end of the last video, I made a realization of what this video was going to be about. During the course of this trip to Thailand, I had these ideas of what I wanted to do. One of them was the gym, and I've kept that up, and I'm extremely proud and grateful of that I just haven't missed any of the days that I said I would go. I'm not sure if you can see them here, but any day that's got a little circle with a green tick through it, the little green circles are the days that I was meant to go to the gym. And every single one of them on that chart has got a green tick in it. And I am proud and grateful of that because honestly, I didn't think I'd make it. So when I get back to the UK, that is something I'm definitely going to keep up. Other things that I decided I was going to do. I wanted a working role playing game. Hasn't happened. I wanted to do some with Jules. Hasn't happened. I wanted to release a TTRPG zine based on the game that I was making. Hasn't happened. Then I decided I wanted to make a TTRPG zine based on other games. Hasn't happened. Work has been done across the board, right? I've done plenty of work while I'm been here, although I did spend a huge amount of time working fully on War Cradle work to get the adventure book finished, right? So a huge chunk of the time that was going to be dedicated to those things just went into being full-time at War Cradle while I got that finished. I'm not complaining about that. That was a choice that I made due to circumstances that I think I've discussed before. But as I discussed briefly in the last video, the problem with doing that is that the creative work, whether it's work that of my own or whether it's work for somebody else, drains from the exact same battery. Me, I work on the work that I'm paid for in the exact same way I work on my own work. The only difference is when I know there's a deadline, I am able to let the other work go. And when it's my own work and there's no deadline, I am far more fussy and perfectionist about it. The cover for the zine, which was playing out a couple of videos ago, is a good example of that. But I do get to a stage where I'm like, right, that is done. Right. So there is a bunch of work that has been done on that zine, and that zine will be released at some point in the very near future, as I mentioned in that last video. But in amongst all of that stuff that I said I was going to do, there were two other things that I haven't done that just suddenly dawned on me at the end of recording that last video. And that was that two friends have asked me to do work for them a long time ago. Chris, who I work with, wanted drawings of his D&D characters, his party's D&D characters, and Gianni, who I also work with, who's the designer. Chris is the studio manager. Gianni is the senior designer at the company. Chris just asked me, and Gianni asked me and said, Gianni has also designed the world's leading book on Star Wars figures. I don't think I'm incorrect in saying that. He has designed, if you know anything about Star Wars figures, he has designed, I think they call it the Blue Book. It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. And it's expensive because it's incredible. It's a huge amount of work. It's a massive coffee table book. And he said, draw me a Judge Dredd cover, and in exchange, I'll give you one of the books. So he gave me the book because he had them there, and I was like, I'll definitely do that. That was a year ago, easily. Chris's D&D characters have been months at this point that he asked me, and I promised myself I would get them done during this trip. And lo and behold, as it suddenly dawned on me in that last video, I haven't got them done. And maybe of everything I'm trying to do, that's the most disappointing one. Because they're promises that I made to people. And I didn't have to do them, but I agreed to do them. And I know that they don't mind in a way where they're not asking me every day, where's my artwork? But still, I did promise to do them. The problem with work like that is it's not that I don't want to do it. It's not that I'm dismissive of things that I've promised to people. But as was explained in the last video about the way my life unfolds, there's no structure to it. And what happens is I get up in the way that I talked about, and then I'm like, you've got to get on with the day and do the work. And the last thing I was working on is the first thing I think of. right? So I get up, and when my brain suddenly kicks me into gear and is like, you've got to get on with this, it's like, what needs doing? Oh, yeah, the sewer rat drawing needs doing, which is what I was thinking for today. And then it was like, no, but you need to record a video as well. And so that other artwork just gets pushed down and down and down the list to the point where it gets pushed out of my brain. And that isn't a good enough excuse or a good enough reason, but that is what is going on here. And that's because I lack the structure. It's because I don't have a system in place where I'm able to look at everything that needs doing and slot them into a week's worth of tasks and actually slot them in, like actually say, on Monday, I'm going to work on this thing. I should start work on those images this week. As I explained in the last video, the Kickstarter isn't going to happen during Zine Quest anyway. And not that I want to delay doing the zine. Another problem that I do struggle with, and I think I've talked about this before in videos as well, is changing track. Definitely talked about this in the last video about changing track from one project to the next. But as soon as something disrupts me, when I go back to doing the thing, that's the danger point for me changing track, right? If something, when I'm working on Jules, the reason so much of Jules is done but still not released is because when I was working on Jules, I was working on it, working on it, working on it. And then something like Batgirls would come up, or the War Cradle work would come up, or whatever it might be. And it would derail me from Jules. And then I, certainly with the comic work, and I would then say work on Batgirls. And then I'd be like, well, the last thing I want to work on is more comics. You should do some work on the role playing game. So I do some work on the role playing game. And then I'd have to step away from it. And then I'd have no idea where I was at with the role playing game when I got back to it. And I'd look through the mess of rules that I had, because that's the problem when you're developing a game. There's this point where there's just rules and ideas everywhere, and you can't remember which one's slotted in where, especially if you have a sizable break from it. And I'd be like, well, why don't you work on Jules then? Because that's easy. And then I go back to Jules. And so that cycle goes. Now I feel like I'm just trying to make excuses for why not to get Gianni's cover done and get Chris's D&D characters done, because that isn't going to be a sizable enough break that I can't just get back to the zine afterwards. Like I said, right now I'm overwhelmed. I mean, I don't know where I am right now, because right now I'm back in the UK at this point of watching this, so I don't know where my brain's at right now. But at the point of recording this, I am overwhelmed right now. I have overwhelmed myself. Like I said in that last video, my life itself isn't a struggle by a lot of people's standards, but I still struggle with the situation that I'm in. Okay, look, this video was meant to just be something very short so that it wasn't just a time lapse that popped up with a thing in the description saying, sorry, I'm traveling. I mean, I am saying, sorry, I'm traveling. And unfortunately, the travel video has been made at a time when I was struggling. And I think a part of the struggle is the fact that I knew I would be traveling. And like I said in the last video, that this trip has become increasingly wearing on me and increasingly disruptive to both the work that I was doing and my state of mind. And I'm still in the middle of that right now. But yes, I'm going to edit these videos today. And then for the rest of this week, I'm going to work on those things that I promised those people. Whether they'll be finished by the time I leave, I don't know. But actually, the next time I record a video, I'll be able to give an update on them. The next time I record a video, I'll give an update on the zine, where I'm at, me and where I'm at, being back in the UK and being back in the caravan, and the artwork that I've promised these people. Because I've also been asked to do a commission. Somebody contacted me about a commission, which does sound very interesting, actually, the concept behind the commission. But again, I don't want to accept it if I'm not going to be able to finish it. And even though I warned him when he messaged me and said, am I available commissions? I said to him, depends what it is. And I'm slow, as a warning up front, I'm slow. So we'll see on the commission front. But I'll update on all of those things. The next video will be much more of an update video about being back in the UK and what my plans are for going forward. Certainly for the foreseeable future of going forward, being back in the UK and trying to work on these projects again and trying to get life back into some sort of order in the caravan. Because while I don't have a problem with the caravan, I love the caravan actually, I do have a problem with this situation, this 8-month, 4-month thing is really wearing on me. And while I don't have a problem with living in a caravan at all, a lot of people get confused when I say caravan. Static home, whatever you want to call them, static caravan, trailer homes, whatever the term you got. I've got zero problem with living in the structure that I'm living in. I like the structure that I'm living in, but the situation of that structure, I'm not so keen on. But I don't know what I can do about that right now. That's not on the immediate agenda to deal with. It's the work for Christian Gianni. It's getting this zine finished, trying to get this channel to a point where it's actually engaging to me, let alone other people. All right, I'm going to leave this one here as well. If you made it this far, again, especially in these last two videos, you are a saint, because all I've done is waffled on. But hopefully in the next videos, it will all pick up again. All right, ladies and gentlemen, my name's Neil. Thanks for watching. Until the next one, I don't know, stick to the things that you promised. I mean, other people do. I know they do, actually. So that's not good advice. That's just advice that you're probably already taking anyway. All right, until the next one. See you later. Bye. Bye-bye.